What exactly informed Supreme Court's decision to quickly dismiss President Muhammadu Buhari's intervention on the ban of the higher denominations of the Naira? How can this apex court ruling affect spending by politicians for the rest of the general election? And what about its impact on how much disposable income that Nigerians can afford at the moment? Well, we are now being joined by Lana, who is a former Attorney General of Oyo State and currently governorship candidate of Social Democratic Party for this weekend's elections in the state. We'll start the conversation by asking him why he's in the race to become governor of Oyo State. Good morning, sir. Good to have you join us on the program today.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good to have you. All right, let's go straight into it, and let's start with your aspiration to be the governor of Oyo State. I know that you are an Ibadan man, am I correct?
Yeah, since 2014, myself and some concerned professionals have been meeting over the perennial downward move of the economic situation in Oyo State. We are not happy about our education, about our health, about our agriculture. We were able to identify the areas in which we could improve the economy of the state. We've been talking to some of the past governors about them, but none of them was ready to improve the economy. For instance, we talked about the free trade zone, which I pioneered when I was Attorney General, which was left unattended to. We talked about the natural resources we have, our rivers, our canals, which could be turned into fish production units. We talked about agro-allied industries. None of this was done. They were all spending our money on elephant projects that have no impact whatsoever on the average citizen of Oyo State. Having said that, we decided to have our own blueprint and say, okay, since we believe in what we want to do, let me go out and contest so as to bring succor to the people of Oyo State. We have 21.5 kilometers of kilometers, we call it Agopa channelization, which could be used as the longest fish production canal in the world. But we're not using it. It's just a refuse dumping ground. We have rivers. We didn't invest them with fish. We have a Keregot dam that could be used for both electricity, fish production, and irrigation. They spend millions on fertilizers, but we know what we need is irrigation. Nobody has ever tried to irrigate the farmland, especially in Okiogun area. We have projects for women to produce a lot of things, massive production of food. Nobody is attending to that. These are what prompted me to say, let me come and break the barrier and remove all these bottlenecks.
Okay, Mr. Lano. Part of what I was going to ask you before we lost you temporarily the other time was that you'll be running against three major candidates who are all from Ibadan, I believe, like your good self. The incumbent governor Seyi Makinde of PDP, Teslim Folari of APC, and Bayo Adelabu, of Accord Party. What are your chances against these people?
You will see that none of the three you mentioned is a grassroots man like me because of my profession. I am loyal to almost all the grassroots associations in this state. And I fought for them. I've been with them when they are lacking, even when government is oppressing them. I've been loyal to the butchers. I've been loyal to the Pig Farmers Association. I'm loyal to the NURTW. We were the one that reformed the NURTW in Oyo State to ensure that they abide by law, they get training. I'm loyal to the Plank Sellers Association. I'm loyal to the mechanics. I'm loyal to the people that actually matter in elections. So I am closer to the grassroots because I'm a lawyer, because of the choice of law that I practiced. I'm closer to them. I listen to them. They've carried all their problems to me. They've brought their problems to me, and God has helped me using my law practice to solve their problems in various ways. So I am closer to the people that matter in an election than any of them. They are richer than me, but we want to tell the world that the child of a poor man also can rule, because we are part and parcel of the people. And we know our own problems. They don't know our problems. They are just politicians. They are just rich people, wealthy people with high-class people. But the high-class people are not as many as the downtrodden. I am part of the downtrodden, and I've been with them, and I've fought for them. So I'm in a better position to beat all the three.
All right. So as you heard in our introduction, I mean, you are a lawyer. I'd love for your input. I'd love to know what you think about the Supreme Court's quick judgment, as people have described it, and why do you think that they arrived at such a decision so quickly to overturn President Muhammadu Buhari's intervention on the ban of old Naira notes?
To begin with, we have to appreciate that the justices of the Supreme Court are part and parcel of the Nigerian society. Their wives also go to the same market that we go to. They eat the kind of food that we eat. They too personally are affected by this obnoxious policy on Naira. And some of us have been saying it, that what they did is impeding on our human rights. And I thank God that the Supreme Court was able to pronounce on it. There are so many practices in the banking sector that have to get the attention of the Supreme Court, actually. The banking system is terrorizing the citizens of this country. Whether we want to, let's leave politics out of it. I know that what the government did has political tune. And what they did, honestly, I love what the political implication of what they did. But it is not the politicians that suffered it. It is innocent people that suffered it. And even the government in power were the one that was spending a lot of money at the last election. So what is the point of saying you want to avoid vote buying? The Supreme Court is part of the society, and when they looked at the law, at the Constitution, they decided to do what is the needful. We must not create a dictatorship in a democracy. That is what they did. That's what the Supreme Court did. And I thank God that they are bold enough to do that. I wish they had been bold enough in other cases like that people are complaining about.
Okay, how do you then think that the judgment of the Supreme Court might have any effect on next Saturday's elections? Does it mean that people will feel relieved and therefore come out more? Or do you think that there will be more money to spend? You have, alluded to the fact that the people that
To be candid.
Yes. Go on, please.
Political parties that didn't have money will still not have money to spend. And the high spenders were not inhibited in last Saturday's election. So let's face some reality. We were in the field. They were still spending the money, and we are wondering, where did they get all these Naira notes that the ordinary people like us couldn't get? So as far as I'm concerned, let us relieve the poor people. Let them have their money to spend. We are suffering because of politicians who actually still got the money. If the Buhari wants to do something needful, is to send out EFCC and everybody to arrest anybody that comes out to spend money, because they actually spend the money. In Oyo State here, the APC, they still spend money for that election. Where they get the money? In spite of the cashless policy they're talking about, they still find ways. So it's better we find another alternative to prevent vote buying rather than suffer the masses. And so many people are hungry. How much do they have in the bank? You collected their money. In fact, it started looking like the APC got all our money to the bank so that only they can have money to spend on the election day. That is what it looks like in Oyo State here. I don't know of any part of the country, but that's what it looks like in Oyo State here. Money determined last week's election. Money determined it.
Okay, all right.
Where did they get the money?
Okay, all right. Before we let you go, let me bring you quickly back to the Oyo State politics and your party, SDP. In 2019, the candidate for governorship in Oyo State was Chief Bolaji Ayorinde SAN, an Ibadan man like you, like the other ones. But towards the tail end of that election, SDP had an alliance with PDP for Seyi Makinde to emerge. My first question to you is, how are we sure that this time around that there won't be a last-minute alliance between your party and PDP? That's one. And then is SDP in Oyo State all about legal minds? Chief, I already did the last time, an SAN, and then your good self, the former Attorney General of Oyo State, now running on the platform of the SDP. Is it all about legal minds in SDP?
You can read between the lines in what happened in 2019.
Okay.
Seyi Makinde was in SDP. He left for PDP, but left his own people, some of his people, including Chief Ayorinde in APC and in SDP. That is to say, don't allow a strong politician to run on the platform of SDP. Hold forth for me. So his stepping down was just pre-planned. But in my own case, I'm not here as representing any person or any personality. And I kept on saying it, we are not going to step down for any person nor have anything to do with any other party. We are holding forth. We are building upon our own interaction with the community, with the downtrodden, and we are trying to carry the poor people of Oyo State to the polls. Because we want to liberate them. We want to give Oyo State what Awolowo gave to Southwest. That is what we want to do. So the issue of saying last minute, SDP stepping down for another party will not arise.
All right. All right, Barrister Lana, former Attorney General of Oyo State and the candidate of the SDP for next Saturday's election. We want to thank you so much for this interview. Thank you.